Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Just an update on progress of the 1950 Chevy pickup truck that we're working on. Interior's finished, glued together. Don't have anything left to do in that. The ride height we've got set where we want it. We just have to build some suspension around the front end. And the rear suspension I won't glue in place until the model's basically finished as usual to get the ride height that I want in the rear. The front is set where I want it now. The rest of the stuff we'll run through here in a second, and we'll get this camera adjusted and show you where we are. Hang on one sec. As I said, interior's finished. We changed out the seats, put some bucket seats in it. Had a console in my stash that I installed in it as well. Changed out the stock steering wheel for a little bit more of a custom look to it. And of course used to use pins in the steering column for the turn signals, and the shifter, we just left the shifter on the column on this one to kind of keep it semi-original. Interior same color as the car is going to be. It's a green, and it's a metallic gray that I still think I'm going to paint the inside of the box the same color as the door panels, kind of a metallic gray. And of course the outside will be body color, and the fenders and cab will be the green that we talked about in the first video. Used my seat belts on the seats. We did have to tub the rear end a little bit. The tires are so wide, to get them under the fenders I had to do some tubbing. Not much, just a little bit to get the wheels tucked down where I want them. So we've made that modification. The inner tubs are glued in place to the inner box sides. The box bed, it's my first time trying to simulate wood grain. So what I did was I sprayed the box bed with a base coat of Tamiya, what is this? Tamiya Desert Yellow as a base coat, and then just used a oil-based paint. It's a burnt umber. And I just squeezed it out on a piece of paper towel to try and soak up some of the oils in it. And believe it or not, I used an old toothbrush to brush on the burnt umber over the desert yellow base. Just dabbed it off the paper towel, and just more of a dry brush type of application. And of course, as I say, it's my first time trying this, and I think it turned out half decent. I still have chrome foil to do on the ribbing on the bed, and I'm still tossed up. I haven't made a decision whether I'm going to, once I get that chrome foil laid down, whether or not I'm just going to leave it as is, or I'm going to spray it with a polyurethane clear on top just to get a bit of a shine to the wood. I haven't made up my mind about that. Bottom of it, didn't worry about it. You're not going to see it anyway, so I just painted it flat black. But the box is basically ready for paint, as the rest of the body is pretty much there. I've still got some seam lines and stuff to clear up on the cab, and that's about where the box is. It's basically ready for paint. Let me get this out of the way and show you where we are on the rest of this stuff. Hang on. I've been working on motor 2. Hang on. This high-tech camera guy. And of course I always zoom the wrong way. See if we can get this thing to focus now. Come on, baby, you can do it. All right. We've got pulleys installed. Got my alternator and my power steering pump mounted. Made some brackets for those. All the pulleys are lined up. We still have belts to run on the pulleys, of course, and it's a dual belt setup. And of course, the pulley set I sell on the website at Off the Sprue. We've got our oil breather caps installed on the valve covers. Of course, we sell at offthesprue.com. Oil filter tube is installed as well. Got the distributor mounted. Decided to go with a gray wires and blue spark plug boots. And of course, the gray will hopefully complement the rest of the gray that's on the interior and the inside of the box and in the inner fenders and firewall. Got an accelerator cable glued in place, accelerator linkage, a return spring glued in place. We've got our fuel filter installed. I sell those at Off the Sprue as well. And air cleaners finished and painted. We won't put the air cleaner on until we get to the final stage when the motor is in. Hang on one sec. Where are you? There you are. Now, once we get finished with the motor, the air cleaner is going to go on like about that. So that's going to look pretty good. Block is painted same color as the body's going to be in the air cleaner, that metallic candy apple green. So I think that's going to look good in that engine bay, especially surrounded with gray firewall and metallic gray inner fenders. Next thing we got to do is I've got my wire loom spacers installed on there. And next thing we got to do is run our spark plug wires down to the cylinder head, slide our spark plug boots down. Once those are set, there's a bit more detailing on the engine I want to do. I've still got my dipstick tube I need to install on it. Still got my alternator wiring to go on the back, and I still haven't glued in my heater hoses and upper and lower rad hose yet, but those will be towards the end of the stage, and then we'll make some little hose clamps to slide on the hoses as well. The other thing I have to do yet is still need a vacuum line off the intake manifold. It's going to run up to the brake booster. But that's kind of where the engine is right now, guys. It's getting close. The rest of the stuff, inner fenders are painted up. Come on. Inner fenders are all painted up. And that's the metallic gray that basically the inside of the box is going to be. And it's going to match the interior as well. So inner fenders are ready to go. Firewalls painted. Of course, with my distributors you buy on the website, I include a ignition coil and a small piece of material to make the coil bracket. So it's mounted on the firewall. We just have to run our coil wire once we get our engine in place. Master cylinders mounted and installed. I still have to run my brake lines from the master down to the chassis, but we'll get at that when we get to a certain stage in this assembly. But firewall is basically ready to go. I just highlighted some of the wiring with a fine tip marker, just in some blues and reds and blacks to kind of bring those out. Got our holes drilled for our heater hoses to go into the heater box and the firewall, and that's where that is. Body's still in the same shape, and of course I always do those last. Hang on one sec. Body's still in the same state. It's not primed. It's just knackered. I still have seam lines I need to clear up on the cab. Fenders up around the rear window, down the back of the cab sides. But we'll get at that when the motor gets real close to getting into the chassis. But other than that, that's about where we are, guys. And just a quick update on what's going on. And as usual, thanks for stopping by. And you guys all take care. See ya.